In this Multiversus video, we're going to go over the best perks to use with Arya Stark in Multiverses. So from the main menu here, I'm going to select Collection, and then I'm going to select Arya Stark from the characters here. You can see that we can now train perks for Arya Stark. I'm working towards tier 12, level 12, and I'm going to show you the perks that are currently available. You can also see that you can select 3 lower level perks for your build when using Arya Stark, and you can select 1 signature perk at a time. Now let's go into the train perk section, and I'll give you a run through of what's available. First you have the offense section, a defense section, and utility section. In each section you will have Arya Stark's known perks, which are going to be the perks that you most likely have unlocked if you're a lower level Arya or just getting started with Arya. Then you have unlocked perks from other characters. These are the perks that you have unlocked when using other characters in Multiverses. Then you will have all other perks. You can train perks by selecting from the unknown perks from other characters or the all other perks, and the way you do this is you select a perk and then you can train it by using an amount of gold. Here you can see Make It Rain Dog will cost me 100 gold. I currently have 10,655 gold available in Multiverses. So in offense, let's select the best perk to use with Arya Stark in this category. Now Arya Stark uses a lot of melee attacks with her sword, and she has a strong horizontal knockback move that she uses for her special, which is the reason why I like to select Percussive Punch Power. Your team deals 5% increased damage with attacks that knock back enemies horizontally, 10% increased damage if your ally also selects this perk. Now let's quickly go over this move because it does change depending on a situation. This move is called Knife Thrower, but in order to access the move that I'm talking about, you need to throw your knife. Arya throws a knife projectile that can attach to fighters. Attaching to fighters reduces cooldown, and if you press that button again, Arya will dash to the knife location, hitting enemies as she dashes. On cooldown, Arya does a spinning stab forward that breaks armor. Now that spinning stab forward is what I'm talking about. It's incredibly powerful and incredibly useful, but you need to have thrown your knife and used the dash after you've thrown that knife in order to have access to this knockback move that I'm talking about, which is the spinning dash forward. Now that we've covered that, let's get back into our perks and let's talk about the runners-up in this section here, in the offense section, that you can use with Arya Stark. Now the first known perk that you will have with Arya Stark is going to be the snowball effect. Your team deals 7% increased damage against fighters with higher damage. So if the fighter has the highest damage and you're attacking that fighter, it will increase the amount of damage that you are giving to that opponent. It does require a little bit of thinking power to take advantage of, which is the reason why I haven't chosen this as one of the top perks to use with the Arya Stark, even though it is incredibly useful with a hit and miss situation. Basically, if you're just attacking and not thinking about it, you may be attacking the player that has the highest damage, and then you are able to get that 7% or 15% if other allies select this perk. Now there are a lot of players that select this perk, so do keep that in mind when you're selecting this, because you could miss out on using another offense in this slot. Another perk that is brilliant in this section here is the Armor Crush. Your team's fully charged attacks break armor. Break armor at 75% charge if your ally also selects this perk. The reason why this is brilliant is because your spin attack that I've mentioned earlier breaks armor, but now you'll also be able to break armor with your other charged attacks, and this mixes up your offense so you're able to break armor more often when you're using this perk. Now Arya's debuffs that she has in her arsenal are situational. She drops a pie when she knocks out an enemy, and if an enemy walks into that pie, it will slow an enemy. But if your teammate walks into that pie, it will heal them. So of course that pie can be used for 2 situations, and you're most likely not always going to be able to position your pie in a position where it can hit or touch an enemy for that debuff, which is the reason why we shouldn't really select too much in terms of debuffs for this section here, but you could select the hit and where they're down. If they are running into your pie, you can then get a 5% damage, or you could select, for example, Painted Target or the Wildcat Brawler. Do let me know what you're selecting in this section here, in your offense section. What are the perks that you're using with your Arya build? Now that we've covered the offense section and what's the best perks to use with Arya in this section, let's move over to defense, which is going to be extremely important for Arya if you're selecting anything to do with defense, because she is known as a glass cannon. She's incredibly powerful, but her defense is weakened for her build. No matter what you select, she has a weak defense, defense as she's an assassin's build and she's known as a glass cannon. So having an extra defense for your Arya is going to be really important in multiverses so that you can lower the amount of damage that you are taking when you're being hit by certain effects or certain melee attacks. And it is for this reason that I'm going to select the easiest perk in this section. The most simple to select in this section is going to be Kryptonian Skin. Your team receives 4% reduced incoming damage. This is all incoming damage, so you don't really have to think too tough or too hard about what you want to select for your defense section if you're using Kryptonian Skin, as this is more of a passive thing that you don't need to apply yourself. There is no button you need to press in order to have Kryptonian Skin if you select this perk here, which is why I'm going to select it, as it's going to be the easiest defense to use with Arya, and definitely the best perk to use in this section for that reason. A runner-up could be the Stronger Than Ever. Your team receives armor for 5 seconds after respawning. Now of course when you're respawning, if you need that extra defense because you're in the center of the map and then an enemy is positioned ready to attack you, this is another way that you can sort of defend yourself from that position. Another one that you could select could be back to back. Your team receives 6% reduced damage when near an ally, 12% reduced damage if an ally also selects this perk. If you've noticed, I'm selecting the perks that can be stacked with Arya. These are team based defense. The reason why I'm selecting these is because these are the easiest to use with Arya in terms of being able to defend yourself from damage being a glass cannon. Do let me know if there's a different perk that you're using for defense with your Arya build in multiverses. Now let's move over into utility, where things are going to get very interesting, and I have a few tidbits of knowledge to give you for your Arya build, as she's an expert character to use in multiverses. Let's go, here we go. Now, CoffeeZilla is a fan favourite. Many of you love to use CoffeeZilla with your characters in multiverses. I do not select CoffeeZilla with Arya, and there's a huge reason for that. Stay to the end of the video so that you understand how you can stack your utility perk with your signature perk. We're really going to get into it in this one with Arya. So I do not select CoffeeZilla, and that is the reason why, because of the type of signature perk that I select and the moves that I use and how I've selected an offense to go along with that, which will make sense once you've watched this video all the way through into the end. What I do select on the other hand is the Leg Day Champ. Your team receives 10% increased jump height, 15% increased jump height if your ally also selects this perk. The reason why I select Leg Day Champ is because it gives me that extra height, so when I'm using that dash forward, I'm able to get higher when I'm jumping. So for example, if I've jumped and then I use that spinning dash, I can then move to a higher position, or I can push downwards away from the position, so I do not need gravity manipulation, which is the reason why I don't select gravity manipulation here. Another one that I would select in a runner-up in the utility section could be Triple Jump. Of course, you know Triple Jump, your team receives an extra jump after hitting an enemy while in the air. So this is also going to give you an extra position that you can take with Arya, and then if you need to get down, you can either push down, have a slow drop not using gravity manipulation, or you can use your special to get further down towards the map. Now let's get into that signature perk so I can tell you a little bit more about your Arya build, and you can learn that little bit more towards using Arya Stark in multiverses. Let's get into that signature perk now, and I'll show you what's available. So we have Betrayal. Hitting an ally with Arya's dagger has a longer cooldown, but the ally is given an enraged buff. If Arya dashes to the dagger on an ally, she enrages herself. Then we have Trophy. When Arya knocks out an enemy, she automatically obtains their face. Now when you're obtaining the face of another character, you can use that for a variety of things. You can use that face to use an enemy's attack, or you can use that face to stun an enemy that is near you or in your proximity, and it's sort of like a sort of bomb in that area. It sort of covers like a range. The hitbox is quite big, if that makes sense. So when you're using that stun when you've stolen someone's face, it really can be helpful in a certain situation, as it gives you and your teammate time to put yourself in a better position or think about how you're going to attack or defend. So that is the reason why. That is great, but that's not the perk that I use in this section here. The perk that I use in this section is Betrayal. The reason why I use Betrayal is because it gives me a longer cooldown for throwing my dagger. Now when when I have a longer cooldown for throwing my dagger, I can then use my spinning dash attack a lot more in the match, and that gives me that further knockback that I've been talking about earlier on in this video. So with that said, that is the reason why I use Betrayal as the top perk to use with my Arya build, but do let me know if you're using anything else, like for example Trophy, or what other perks you're using for your lower level perks. Just providing that insight for you right here, as I've been using Arya, and this is what I think is the best build at the moment for Arya in this point in Multiverses. Now that we've covered that, let's get into a match and I'll show you how this is done in Multiverses. Let's go Arya Stark. So let's jump into a match and let's show you how this is done. Gonna go into a 2-on-2 teams match.
A character.
Of course, the character we're going to select is Arya Stark. Let's get it. The perks we're going to be using: Kryptonian Skin, Leg Day Champ, Percussive Punch Power, and Betrayal.
Nothing isn't better or worse than anything. Nothing is just nothing.
I also have the Arya Stark Announcer Pack. Got Wonder Woman on team, which means she might be using something to do with melee, maybe? She's level 6, so I'm not 100% sure. Let's have a look. She's not using any perks at all. Okay. Got our perks that would add towards the team. It's a level 9 Superman and a level 4 Jake. So that should be interesting. Okay, so Wonder Woman is selecting perks now. It's gone for Sturdy Dodger, I think. Oh no, Snowball Effect, Coffeezilla, and Second Wind Beneath Your Wings.
Let's begin.
There is another bonus perk that I'll show you. Some perks that you can use to be extremely aggressive with Arya. I'll show you after we've had this match here with these two players. There's that dash.
This is over.
The Superman's trying to figure it out. Stay out of this, Jake. Between me and him. Jeez! Is that manipulation I talk about? Here's the pie. Trying to get him to hit into the pie, but he's not having it.
Amazons never hold back.
Oh. Done a short dash there instead of a... I went slightly lower than Superman now.
Justice.
Got it.
Up and at 'em. Going up.
Dash is absolutely beautiful, isn't it? They stolen. Yeah, nice dash.
For the future.
He's gone.
Yes.
Chased after him. Beautiful match right there.
Go back to
Got to
your
show off a little bit of what Arya can do, what she's capable. Let's see if they rematch.
Let's go!
Looks like they're going for the rematch. Looks like everyone's on it today. So this will give me the chance to show you a different build with Arya now. So I'm going to select Arya, but I'm going to change these perks around.
Always room for a few more on my list.
So there's another build that you can use with Arya. If you're extremely aggressive, you're confident you're going to get high damage points. What I would do is, for example, if you go for Trophy, completely different build that we're going to go for now. Snowball Effect. And there is another one, but it's not available here right now at the moment. But let's say, for example, instead of Kryptonian Skin, you can go for Coffeezilla. What that does is it allows you to use your still face ability more often. You're able to use your sword throwing more often. Another one you could use as well would be, oops, hold on. There's another utility that you could use with that. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's about having high damage points and then sort of stacking the amount
Let's
of
begin.
damage you can use. So this is a more aggressive version of Arya, not focusing too much on her defense at all.
I should like to see this, then, Skira. Is it west?
See if we can close it out. So
Stand
try to-
back. I have an angle.
Hey, take that, Superman. Oh, I tried to dash away from it. Why did you just...
I will bury you in those red blooms.
I'm ready for more.
Now it's my turn, Diana.
Blue point.
You're about to get thrown into the sun for that one.
How about Finn? What? Caught ya.
Yes! An excellent victory. House L has honor, even in defeat.
So completely different build there. Still managed to pull out the win. It was a really nice one. And guys, don't forget you can also subscribe. Do let me know what you think of Multiversus so far. Give me a thumbs up. You should see more content on screen right now, including Multiversus tutorials, perks run-throughs like these, and more. Check those out. And don't forget, you are awesome. See you in the next one.